Okay, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good afternoon. I am Everett Curdy, also known as Lopez Canda, and I am really, really delighted to welcome you all to this space, to this room, and to my Menton for those who are from Labimbi Bellbooks Menton, Labimbi Groises, and all the other Mentons in this particular realm. That's what it's called. I also appreciate a lot of you who work at the headquarters, have taken the time and the privilege to come down here. I really appreciate the integrity of that. I just want to introduce you to my brand new Menton guest, but well, not exactly brand new. I've had her a couple times before. In May, just last month in August, and now in September, her thriving time. I want to welcome you to Abby Lee Miller because a unit that my Menton has been focusing on since Taurus season in April 26th has been Dance Moms. We've been watching all of the seasons of that, and back in December of last year, I believe it was the 8th, that's when I had everyone start watching those on the new season of Dance Moms. And we've been watching with the beginning stages of season 5. Now, that's where we are. We took a big break from that in June, especially in late June when I had a whole nother level of customs, completely different. I had Zach Callison come here on the 26th. He stayed through the rest of cancer season, and when we got back from Corning on the 25th of July, the day after was his last day, which he decided to stay on and leave. So he will be coming here on October 13th. He will be staying to around the 20th, 21st, and then he will be coming back after his birthday on the 23rd. And my Menton has been singing his songs, and we've been, having a whole lot of customs and occasions and a concert of several and watching Just That Magic. And, for his birthday, because I have got to know him well, and he is an honorary Menton person officially now, so they, come, and go at certain times. And I know that you're choreographing a dance for his song Phantom Love, are you not? Okay, yeah. There's a lot of Scorpio themes that we're going to talk about when we get there. And there was a couple of his songs that use kind of vulgar language and, subject matter. But that's his area, and that's, really the, beauty of what we're trying to, learn. We're going to be learning about coming up. So trip over to the dark side. That's really the contrast between Libra and Scorpio, by the way. Light, and then you have the dark. So I already kind of introduced you to the owner and teacher of the Abby Lee Dance Company, and host of Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition and Abby's Studio Rescue, Abby Lee Miller. It's definitely a thrill and an honor to have you here. I know that she has taught my Menton the dances, and we made a couple adjustments with, your teaching methods. I don't want to get into that. And, we're going to be talking about Abby today. I'm going to be talking about, my, feelings and beliefs about her. And she will, after I'm done with the horoscope and tell you how things are going to work with horoscopes fully with season, because I'm changing it up this year. She'll be coming up, and she has a natal chart, her natal chart from astro.com that she printed out and that she's going to be going over. And Deborah Silverman, who is probably a lot more knowledgeable than I am with astrology, since it's a new way of going about. She will be with Abby, talking through her chart with her, and them kind of going along, teaching each other along the way, kind of taking it in turn. So that should be really, really great, and I think that it'll definitely be a very interesting and one of a kind educational experience for everybody. Now I'm trying to think what else I want to get into before starting. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, wonderful. So, first of all, what I all want you to do is, because I don't want to have to ask you, what is your name, because a lot of you, I don't know. Oh, by the way, something that's going to be starting up, because I know that you're already, a guest choreographer at Bimby Bell Books, Millie Butterfield's dance studio, Masters of Dance. And, we're going to get into her astrology maybe another time in January. She is a Capricorn, so it's definitely, kind of a very, very high-powered sign. But so anyway, she is going to be going around to teach and choreograph dancing to the students of not only this realm, but all the different realms this autumn. So that should be very, very exciting, since this is definitely something, absolutely incredible that I don't want to keep to myself in certain dimensions. So all of you are going to be having the experience of getting to learn from Abby and the way that she teaches and her methods that are very special, very personal, and very, very interesting to delve into. Things are not what they seem. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I want to cut to the chase here. So, as I was saying, I didn't want to call out, your name. So what I all want you to do is the thing that I asked you all to do while coming here, okay? When you all sat down in your chairs, is I asked you to get a sticky note. I have sticky notes over there. And you need to write your name, just your name. If one of you shares the same name, then preferably put just the last initial so that I can call you that. And also would mention that you're from would also be valuable. For those that might mention, you don't need to worry about that, obviously. So, just for the people who you are that are not at my mention. So how about you do that? While you're doing that, I just want to talk to you about who Deborah Silverman is. That is, she is the resource that we are using to gain knowledge into astrology. And if you have not yet seen her channel, her YouTube channel, Deborah Silverman Astrology, then I would highly recommend that you check that out. She has a very, very good variety of videos on astrology. She is a Gemini, so she's very, talkative, very, fun and humorous. Has impressions of all the different signs. Does, horoscopes every 2 to 3 days. Planets, She is also a psychotherapist, and she has a very, very famous self-help spiritual book, The Missing Element, Inspiring Compassion for the Human Condition. And I have some copies that I cloned for you all that you can take with you if you want. It's definitely the book that everyone can, that anyone and everyone can read. And you don't need to be spiritual or, a believer in astrology to read this. Talks about basically 4 elements, what element that you don't have enough of or you're lacking, and how to find balance and, happiness and peace in your life. So that's what it is about. I know that you have your copy already. And because we were talking about Abby, what is going to be up and coming, well, actually, okay, so you have copies of your book? Okay, yeah. So Deborah Silverman's not here yet. She'll be coming pretty soon here. So, yes, everything I learned in life, I learned in dance class. So you can see red copies over there. That if you are a fan of the show, if you've seen the show, or you want to get to know Abby better and how she teaches, then that will definitely, explain what she is all about and why she says and does what she does. And she is far more normal, kind, reasonable, fair, appreciative than she appears on Dance Moms. Because I know that there was a lot of buzz about that, online. And I'm sure that everyone who watches the show wants to give Abby and, a couple of the other people on the show a piece of their mind. So, anyway, I want to get into it now. I know you're all saying. So, that's probably the longest introduction I would probably give. In future, I'm just going to kind of cut to the chase and, make it shorter. So these are how the horoscopes are going to go. Now, all of the different signs. All of you should know your astrology basics, since I know that all of the dimensions are doing it. There's 12 zodiac signs, and they're all falling in different elements, and they have their ruling planets. So this is not to talk about the basics of astrology. Okay, this is not what this is, because you should have already learned that sometime earlier this year by someone at your Mentons. So I shouldn't have to go over that. So these are the horoscopes. So all of the different zodiac signs are in 3 categories. 3 categories. And by the way, if any of you, something that we're going to be doing during one of these meetings is if you have a birthday, then I would want you to put in your natal chart information on astro.com so that you can have your chart up here, and me and Deborah and yourself can talk about it and analyze it and delve into it. So, just a little reminder, mine's not till April, so I don't need to worry about that now. So, my moon is in Libra, so I was born during the full moon. Yeah. So, all of the different signs, all the 12 zodiac signs are divided into 3 categories. Cardinal, mutable, fixed. And I'll tell you the reason why I'm putting these out of order, because the order that these go in is cardinal, fixed, mutable. Exactly. Yep. There was a method to my madness, and there was, a lot of technologies that we have that we use very wisely. We know, I know what I'm doing. We know what we were doing. So, yeah, 2015, 2014. So, cardinal, mutable, and fixed. So these are the three different categories. So if you think about the year, the astrological year, which starts March 21st through March 20th. So March is the end and the beginning. The saying about that is, in like a lion, out like a lamb. September's more in like a lamb and out like a lion. It's backwards. So September is opposite March. And you'll have birthday would make you an Aries. If you were born on that day. So, and when we get to you, there's going to be some things dealing with Aries that we're going to be talking about that I'll probably not do. But so anyway, cardinal, mutable, and fixed. These are how the signs are divided. So if you think about the astrological year, you think about the seasons. It starts in the beginning of spring. So how these work is, the beginning of spring through the end of winter. So cardinal signs are always at the beginning of every season. Those 4 seasons, as you all know, spring, summer, fall, winter, or in Spanish, la primavera, el verano, el otoño, and el invierno. So, cardinal, first of every season, the word cardinal represents fresh starts. It represents, brand new beginning to things, kind of going along with that. Control, it's the get up and go. It is the initiation and the energy, factor. That's what that is. So all of the, so there's there's 4 signs in each category, and each category has 1 sign from each element. So, and it can either be cardinal fire, cardinal water, cardinal air, cardinal earth, and that goes for the other 2 as well. Just kind of explaining the basics. So, cardinal signs, beginning of every season, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. 3 of those I have, 1 of those I don't. Mutable signs, I'm going out of order. So, mutable signs are at the end of every season. And let me remind you that in June, it is still springtime. Okay? And, but it's kind of, on the cusp of spring and summer. So if you were born, say, March 2nd, then that would, be, kind of, fall spring, just, the very, very beginnings. Okay? So, anyway, mutable. End of every season. Mutable signs are not very controlling signs. They're not very, the word mutable simply means changeable. It changes. Mutable signs don't, stay on something too long, and we're going to be talking about as we go, the tying of the category to the element, to the sign. So mutable signs include Gemini, Pisces, Sagittarius, and Virgo. All 4 of those I have in my natal chart. Now, so we talked about what mutable is, what it represents. So then in between, in the middle of every season is fixed. And fixed means it's, signs that are fixated. They represent power and authority and control, holding down the fort, solid, set in his or her ways. You can't change that person's mind or that person's, heart, or the direction that, they want to go in and what they want to do. So, fixed signs include Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and so that those are the fixed signs. So cardinal, fixed, and mutable. So cardinal fire, Aries, is initiation, getting going, get up and go factor, and all of them have a time of day and a time of life. So Aries would be sunrise, Libra would be sunset, wind down, appreciate beauty. I could, talk about, all about cardinal, mutable, fixed signs, and I'll do that, kind of in little, nooks and crannies as we go throughout the horoscopes. Now, I have these explained, cardinal, mutable, and fixed explained. So, how it's going to work is that the cardinal and mutable horoscopes last 2 days. And I'm talking about all of the cardinal mutable horoscopes. Because if you think about cardinal, fresh starts, wanting to change and move on, it's starting things, not necessarily, keeping with things. Fixed also rules commitment. Mutable, changeable, obviously we're not staying on something too long. Fixed is the exception. So cardinal, mutable lasts 2 days. Fixed, anytime you see the moon in a fixed sign, then that would mean that would last for 3 days. So these are all of the horoscopes written out. I just want to show you what this looks like. I'm not going to go through all of these. I just want you to see here how these are going to look. Okay, so I just want to show everyone here, okay? So all of the horoscopes. You can see that I have the date range, and then the month, and then the modality that the sign is in. So whenever you see mutable and cardinal, both of those last 2 days. Whenever you see fixed signs, then those last for 3 days. I also have what placement that the moon is in. Obviously, we don't need to worry about the sun because it's going to stay. So, it's going to be, so we're starting at Sagittarius. It's going to go all the way to the end of the cycle through Sagittarius, again, following that. Okay, so we're going to be starting with the very, very first horoscope, which is September 22nd, 23rd, which began yesterday. And this is a very, very tricky time because it is the cusp between Virgo and Libra. Sometimes it turns on the 23rd, sometimes it turns on the 22nd. But I will have you know that anyone born today, September 23rd, and I'm talking about everyone, I'm talking about all of the years, they have a sun in Libra. Guaranteed. Anyone born today, this, is sun in Libra. Mark my words. If a horoscope says September 22nd, 23rd, sun's in Virgo, that means that on the 22nd, the sun is in Virgo. But then on the 23rd, when you wake up, sun is in Libra. So, today is, right in that cusp. Now, all of these are written out throughout the whole Libra season. It starts this year from September 23rd through October 21st. Sometimes it turns around the 22nd. Sometimes it goes to the 20th or the 23rd. But it never turns on the 19th. That's a little early. So this is how it works. If you see a horoscope that lasts for 3 days, and it might be a cardinal sign, let's say the moon's in Aries, then that may be wrong. Or if you see, say, October, let's say a horoscope says, May 6th and 7th, moon in Scorpio, no, May 6th, 7th, and 8th, because it's a fixed sign. It stays for a longer period of time than the mutable and cardinal, so that's a wrong horoscope. So, that is what I wanted to go over. Now I want to turn the board over and I want to talk about the natal chart and what's going to be going on. The rest of these are not going to have this much information and this much talking and going over. This is, the one that's going to be the longest and has the most info. Because it's laying the whole thing out of how it's going to go for the Libra season and what, where all the planets and stars are at. So you should have already learned the basics, kind of the planets, the elements of the different signs, all the different signs, what they, all mean generally this, month. We're going to be delving into Libra and talking about Venus and talking about relationship, because Libra is all about relationship, and we're going to be talking about the balancing scale, which is the symbol for Libra. And there's also things called tarot cards, but we're not going to get into that. I don't really do the houses. Because that really depends upon, what time you're born, what moment you're born, or what time area, and the ascendant I don't do, because that, also has to do with the time. That's off the natal chart, and if you want to find that, then go to astro.com. So, okay, I have something in my mind, but it keeps going away. So, let's see here. So we're going to be talking about relationships, and what signs bond to which signs, what elements bond to which element. Forget all of that. Forget people who place, typecast, put little signs in little boxes. Sun sign astrology, it's not that. When you read Linda Goodman, when you read my sun sign books that I have, when you look at your daily horoscope, now that is the astrology that should be debunked. That is the astrology. Like there was a lady, about your birthday, well, that's not, all the information is, inaccurate and not really true, because we're not psychics and we can't really, predict things that are right about what's going to be happening. And also that goes for the weathermen as well. And astrology is not something you have to believe in, as you know. It's just something that you have to know, and to just trust that it believes in you. It's kind of, trusting that. Bike without training wheels, swimming without somebody there, I don't know. Without a noodle. So, yes. Oh, yeah. I have a really, really interesting image when it comes to you, because I don't know if you know that I teach over at the high school in town, and I know that there was a new choir teacher, and in January of 2019, they did The Greatest Showman. And, that's what really comes to mind, is that, you see The Greatest Showman, and that you're really kind of the, most encouraging one of the whole time. But I know that you dance, so. Anyway. So relationships. All of the different signs are compatible with one another in one way or another. Even the signs that don't get along, maybe it's probably better that way. So, those 3 types of relationships, this is one of those nooks and crannies that I'm going to talk about. So, those 3 types of relationships: a bonding relationship, complementing, and countering. So an example of all of these 3, a bonding would be Aries and Sagittarius, let's say. So, Aries and Sagittarius. A complementing would be, one sign with its opposite sign. And a countering would be Leo, Capricorn, Aries, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Cancer. Those are countering relationships. Now, bonding, match made in heaven type of bond, is when 2 signs, not complements, are very, very similar, either in their bonding element or in the same element, that get along great and have a lot of similarities and have a similar